Welcome once again to another episode here on Coach Steele's Finance Training. Happy to have everybody tuning in on today. Looking forward to having another great conversation about financial literacy. I'm going to cut on a little music and we are going to get this party started. There we All right, as you all come on in the room, you already know what to do. Make sure you meet me, make sure you greet me. I want to see you as you come in the room. I want to know where you're listening in from. Let's see here. Of course, you know we get the comments and the chat section going live. We want to turn up. Yes, as you all are tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, I want to see who's tuning in and I want to hear what you have to say about our subject on today. It's a very interesting topic for what we're going to deal with today and where I plan on taking it because there are some things that I like about credit score monitoring, and then there's some things that I don't like about it. Good morning to you all as you all are coming on in the room. Tony Sherman and Mr. Reds Cash, happy to have you tuning in, and my beautiful wife, Yvette Steele, as well. We're talking about credit scores, but probably not in the way that you think we're going to talk about it on today. But here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, we talk about all things financial literacy. And as y'all are tuning in, if you have an opportunity or if you can, share the live so that other people can listen and tune in to this conversation. I'm interested to hear about y'all's thoughts and y'all feelings when it comes to credit scores, how they monitor credit scores, how they decide what our credit scores are. I want you all to take time to really think about that. How do they determine our credit score? And let's just dive deep into this. I have a few articles that I was looking at. Good morning to you, Kashana Johnson. Happy to have you tuning in as well. Shauna, I was looking at one of my videos from last week, and I was talking about Shauna's business. And what's so interesting, and I was going to wait till I saw her in person. One of the clips, as you all are subscribers on the YouTube channel and you continue to follow, you'll see one of the shorts talk about Shauna's business. I posted it on Facebook as well. And I was like, that's pretty cool because she can take that clip, chop it up how she needs to, or while I'm talking about her business, she can put in pictures in those clips as well so that the pictures show the outfits and the jackets, the camo jackets that I'm talking about, and tailor that clip of me talking about her business how she prefers. And that would be another good marketing tool, advertising tool to use on your platforms and send out to people. So just think about that, Shauna. But anyway, we are talking about credit scores on today and these different credit scores that are out there and how people determine what credit scores are. Everyone that's tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, I appreciate you all tuning in because you could be doing anything else on this morning, but you decided to tune in. And of course, that matters to me. So get your popcorn ready, continue to make your breakfast, turn me up in your headphones, your Bluetooth, on the TV if you're watching through YouTube. If you are one of the Facebook listeners, please go over to the YouTube channel and subscribe as well once we get done with the live. I see a lot of my actual Facebook subscribers tuned in on today. I see Timothy Scott, Shauna Johnson. Of course, y'all see that extra design by their name. It's because they are subscribers to the Facebook page. They don't just follow me on Facebook, but they subscribe, and it's 99 cents a month. And that money goes over to Cameroon, Africa to help those that are less fortunate. So I thank you for my subscribers as well. So let's get this party started on today. So earlier this week, guys, when we talk about credit scores and things like that, earlier this week, I saw an article that was very, very interesting. And I want you all to see this as well. And then we're going to, after we talk about this article, we're going to dive into this subject about credit scores and changes and things that are happening and what you all feel about credit scores. For me, if I had to describe some of the feelings and thoughts I have when it comes to how our credit score is taken, some of my thought process is there's a little hypocrisy in how they determine our scores. But we'll get into that. We're going to dive into that. I'm going to share my screen with you all, and I want you all to see something that's going on with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Now, if you are a Coach Steele's Finance Training listener and follower, and you've been listening for a while, you know I've brought up Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac for a while. Now, it says Fannie and Freddie to accept predictive credit scores, U.S. officials say. Now, what does that mean? Let's check this out. April 22nd. Housing finance giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are now accepting additional credit scores that take into account rent and utility payments. A U.S. government official overseeing the agencies now announced on Wednesday. Now, if Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, who give out loans, who lend money to banks so that people can buy houses, if they're going to take into account your rent payments and utility payments, who does that benefit? I want you all in that comment section. Come on now. I need your brains thinking on today. If they are going to accept rent payments, utility payments as showing that you have consistently or not consistently made payments, who is that going to help in the housing industry, in the housing market? Go ahead. No, Shauna, today I'm not on TikTok. I'll try to do it next week. Today it's just Facebook and YouTube Live. Thank you all for tuning in. Sharon Bruton, James Hill. As you all are continue to come on in, make sure you can share the live if you want to on your platform. I want you all to, think about that. Who does this help? It says, yes, Mr. Timothy Scott, it is the renters. That's exactly it. And Shauna, yes, it helps the banks. You are right. But also the person who wants to buy. This is so good. So, yes, people who are renting that can't get a home because of credit score issues, now this opens the door for them to use Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac in a different way. This move is aimed at boosting access to affordable mortgages, the goal of President Trump's administration. Many of y'all have to understand when we're looking at this, that the housing market helps the country go. It's a big role. Housing and oil. Federal Housing Finance Agency Director William Pulte says the pair, which guarantee most U.S. mortgages, now accepted mortgages, access U.S. Using the Vantage Score 40. I'm tearing that up. Vantage Score 4.0 model, which uses advanced data and analytics to generate scores. He said that they're also working to implement a similar modified score system from FICO. So this is getting interesting. Now, FHFA has already done this model in 2022. It was approved. But I want you all to understand that they're expanding the model at how they determine what your credit score or success is as far as your credit by adding this in there. Now, let me stop sharing this screen. I need you all to remember some of the things that I mentioned about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac months ago here on Coach Steele's Finance Training. Some of you might remember I started talking about them and how they started going up in value. So if you look at Coach Steele's Finance Training a couple months ago, you all will understand and start understanding my logic of why I'm introducing and saying certain things to you, because for me, I'm looking at certain things that's going on in the marketplace. I want to see how it affects us so you have an opportunity and don't miss out on things that are happening in the marketplace. Now, as I scroll through Coach Steele's Finance Training, you're going to see different subjects and topics that I talked about on Coach Steele's Finance Training. And I'm going to get to the Fannie Mae and the Freddie Mac. And there it is. Found it. Jackpot. Up. And I think I just lost it. Let me see. Let's go back to live. We'll scroll down. Thank y'all for y'all patience on today. There it is. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. I did a part 1 and I did a part 2 on these two companies. And when I did this, actually, that says 7 months ago. When I did that 7 months ago, I was letting you all know about Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, being aware of it in the marketplace, what was going on with the shares. I showed you all the chart. They went from like $1 a share to like $9, $10 a share. They jumped. So if you would have had like $1,000 in Fannie Mae over a year ago, then it would have been worth like $9,000 in about a year's time frame. So just keep that in mind and think about it. Now, of course, the shares have gone down a little bit, so they're not as valuable. I think they may be around $4 or $5 a share. But anyway, we fast forward. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are opening up more opportunities to help people who want to buy homes. This helps the market. This helps the marketplace with America being able to sell more houses. There's a struggle right now. The cost of homes are going up. What else is going up, guys? The cost of, I can't say interest rates are going up. Interest rates are high and they're starting to go down, which is good. Rates are starting to go down. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac are opening up opportunities to be able to lend more money for homes. This is also good, which can help improve the housing market. And of course, this all helps us equally. But let's get back to these credit scores. Now that helps with the credit score, but what are some issues or things that you all see when it comes to credit scores that you feel are hypocritical? So one thing that I look at, like when I look at credit scores, if you don't borrow money at all, if you don't borrow money at all, if you don't use a credit card, if you don't have any loans, how does that affect your credit score? As y'all are tuning in, tell me in the comment section, how does that affect your credit score? Does that go great for you? Does that go bad for you? If you don't have any credit cards, you don't have any debt, you don't borrow anything. And so when you think about that alone, sometimes I say to myself, like, that's where I think there's a hypocrisy when it comes to credit scores. But at the same time, I understand there's like a grain of truth in what I'm getting at. It's not necessarily the full picture. And so I want to be very, very open with my thought process when I say there's some hypocrisy on how they do our credit score, right? I see you, Timothy and Shauna. Timothy said that credit score drops. Shauna says it becomes bad for you. No credit is bad for the score. And I know I have a lot of listeners that take improving and maintaining their score very serious. But there's a grain of truth in that when I say that there's some hypocrisy, because it's how the system is designed. And that's why I want to talk to you about credit score changes and adjustments. They're always making adjustments and changes to get the best results on how they set it up and design it to be. Shauna says it's not showing you have anything, so they don't want to give you or loan anything because there's no credit. There's no evidence of how you treat credit. So even though I say there's some hypocrisy in that, because if you don't ever borrow any money, then the credit score goes bad. But then what if you say, okay, fine, I'm going to borrow. And then if you borrow too much, then the credit score goes bad. So a credit score doesn't measure wealth or financial strength. I want you all to know that today. When we talk about credit scores, it's not necessarily measuring. It's not meant to measure your wealth or how much money you have or how financially well you are doing. It measures how you manage borrowed money. In that comment section, because I want you all to understand the whole purpose of the FICO, the credit score. It's simply measuring how you manage borrowed money. When you borrow money, how do you manage it? How do you steward it? How do you maintain it? Are you consistent? Are you good at managing what you borrowed and what comes with borrowing the money? If you don't use credit at all, The system has little or no data to evaluate. The system cannot measure how you borrow money because there's no evidence of it. So if there's no evidence, I can't just give you a good score. I know Tony Sherman was going to get started. It was only a matter of time. He's about to get in his bag, y'all. And so the credit score companies, they can't just give you a score. It's like you can't just come to class and get an A. You got to do some work. You got to do your homework. You got to pass some tests. I need you when you come into a class, a professor or a teacher, they're going to give you some assignments and see how you respond. How do you handle those, right? So the same thing with these credit score companies. You can't just get a good grade. You got to earn that grade. You got to earn that score. And so they are simply evaluating how we manage borrowed money. Credit score, they don't evaluate how we manage financial success without borrowing money. They don't evaluate how we maintain ourselves and when we're debt free. Tony Sherman says the system wants you in debt. Oh, yes, that's it, Yvette. How do you manage borrowed money? The system wants you in debt. And yes, most systems, most people, most businesses, they definitely want you in debt. Good morning to you, Mr. Johnson. Because whoever you owe, it's like the borrower is slave to the lender, right? And so if you want to have enough people borrowing from you, then you'll always have people who constantly owe you, people who constantly pay you, people where you'll always be making money. You can hedge against inflation. And so, no, don't mute yourself, Mr. Tony Sherman. I need you to talk about it because I feel the same way. The system wants you in debt. And we are on the same page, Mr. Sherman, for sure. So get into your bag because I feel like complaining too. That's why I'm talking about this. If you manage your money well, if you steward your money well, then you will be punished in a sense by these credit score companies. Now, if you don't use credit at all, the system has little or no data to evaluate you. So your score can be low or non-existent as a result of this, even if you're financially stable. You can be doing financially well. You can be a multimillionaire, but if you don't have any credit, your credit score is low. But you may not even need to use credit at that point. You may find some other avenues. Now, meanwhile, someone who regularly uses and repays credit can have a high score even if they rely on the debt. Someone who needs the debt to make it from one month to the next, and you don't need it at all, you're independent of it, they can potentially have a higher score than you. And that's why it can feel unfair. That's why sometimes when it comes to credit scores, it can be unfair. And some of us, you may have an excellent credit score, but then someone can steal your identity, use your information and tear up your score. Now all of a sudden you down 40 points, 45 points. It's frustrating when you're trying to make transactions happen. And now all of a sudden, this system that is already a little hypocritical and flawed, now you're being punished because you tried to use the system, but somebody else is taking advantage of it. And so it can feel unfair. And the system rewards activity with debt because it doesn't reward activity without debt. Now, but understanding this lets you play it wisely. If you don't have to live in debt, you just need to show responsible usage. And so here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, we talk about this all the time. Some of us learn how to use that system to our advantage. So we may have a credit card, but we don't let the debt run from one month to the next. Here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, we are taught and trained. Find out when that credit card company is going to charge you interest. Find out the charge date. So if you use that credit card throughout the month, but the charge date is the 24th, then from the 1st or whatever time frame you want to count, all the way until the 23rd, we're going to use that card. But if they're going to charge you interest on the 24th, on the 23rd, or the 22nd, whatever you choose, we're going to pay that card off in full, same as cash. without being charged any interest. Here on Coach Steele's Finance Trainer, we don't want to pay interest on the bread and the bananas and cookies that we bought in January. We don't want to be paying interest on that in June. So anyway, that's one way we use the debt system wisely, because we're going to improve our credit score, but that doesn't mean we have to give away our money. As Mr. Tony Sherman said, the system may want you to use debt, but that doesn't mean you have to let the debt use you. That's good right there. We use debt tools, but we use them to our advantage. We get that credit card, we don't pay interest, but we use cashback rewards, hotel points, or mileage. Those of you that are rocking with me with the HELOC strategy, we go get a home equity line of credit, but we use it to get rid of debt. Oh, my girl Elon Trotter is tuning in on today. Shout out to Elon. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. We use that home equity line of credit. We use a debt tool, but we use it to eliminate debt, get rid of debt, free up cash flow, and save thousands of dollars in interest. So when you understand that, you can make adjustments on how you manage debt and how you use debt to your advantage. Okay, so I already told you all, use small controlled balances and pay them off on time if you want a strong score for things like real estate or business leverage. The goal isn't to chase a score, it's to build real financial strength and use the credit system strategically when it serves you long term. And so as we see that there are credit score changes that will happen soon when it comes, let's see what Mr. Tony Sherman says. He says, unmuted for this. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. I forgot I didn't have my chats up. Let me put my chat stream back up. There we go. I can catch them quicker this way. Tony Sherman says, unmuted for this. No statement date is date balances are reported to credit bureaus. So we need to know that information. We need to know when this stuff is going to be reported and when they're going to charge you interest for these things. All right. Tony Sherman says back in hole. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's trying to go back to mute himself. But no, come back out. Come out the hole, Tony Sherman. Talk about it. Share your experiences with us when it comes to credit score. But I thought that was interesting article that we have here when it comes to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, because I want you all to understand that as they keep making these changes, you have to be aware. And when they make these changes and you're aware of them, you can take advantage of them. And you can tell other people about it who need to know. If y'all are just tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, one of the things I was talking about on today was the changes with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac would now accept predictive credit score, including Vantage Score 4.0 and FICO 10T, incorporating rent and utility payment history to expand mortgage access. That should tell you a lot right there. Something going on in America. We need people to buy houses, and there's a shortage of houses. And so with that, and interest rates being pretty high right now, they need to find a better way to give people the ability to buy homes. And so you have some people, like when you look at the landscape and we're talking about financial literacy, there are a lot of people that could buy homes right now that are homeowners with good credit scores, but they're choosing to stay where they are because maybe they got a 2% interest rate back in 2021 or 2022, and they're really not moving from one house to another like they used to. So who's left out there? Renters, people who are renting, and the rent is going up. So I want you all to look at the strategy here. You have people who are renting and the rent keeps going up, and they're like, I wish I could buy a house, but my credit score. I wish I could do something else to improve my credit score. Here comes Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac to save the day. And you got to remember, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the government bailed them out. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac guarantee the majority of U.S. mortgages have announced that they will accept alternative credit scoring models alongside traditional FICO scores. This includes Vantage Score 4.0 and FICO Score 10T, both which use advanced analytics and additional data points such as on-time rent and utility payments to assess borrower's credit worthiness. So this is pretty interesting. For those of you that are renting right now, you need to figure out how does this benefit you and how can this help your credit score. Now, take advantage of that. Because if you are able to acknowledge the changes that are going on, then you also can acknowledge that I can start building wealth. I can now acquire assets. Even if I'm renting, I can go and acquire an asset. Oh, this is so good right here. What if somebody is renting and then now they go take their rent? That helps their credit score. They can apply and get a duplex. Now they stay in that duplex for 1 year, and all of a sudden they move out of that duplex, they rent out both sides, and now this person who was just a renter about a year ago now owns 2 doors and is receiving rent from 2 people. Now they have passive income coming in because there are changes to the credit score system. Even though there's some hypocrisy when it comes to these credit scores and how they determine it, Tony Sherman, if we learn how to use these things strategically, then we can have success. See, Shauna is picking up what I'm putting down. Timothy Scott says next 50-year mortgages. I think they were trying to push 50-year mortgages, but it just didn't get any legs. It didn't go anywhere. Kashana Johnson says these are goals for the Johnsons. Yes, you can apply this. And that's what a lot of Coach Steele's finance training is about is, hey, let's share this information and help someone who may be in this situation so that they can apply it to their life and maybe be able to help them fly financially. A lot of people who listen to Coach Steele's finance training, you may be a homeowner, but you probably know someone who rents, and this can help someone out as they take this information, they apply it, and it empowers them, and now they're acquiring properties that they can make assets. And so we have to use all of this to our advantage. Of course, when it comes to your credit scores, do your homework, do your due diligence. That way you can understand and learn how credit scores are measured. So let's get into that just a little bit. I won't stay there a real long time. Let's see if I can give y'all some more information on that. Don't want to go here. And I'll say this, and y'all can put this in the comment section. When it comes to your credit score, what would you say your usage rate needs to be? Does anybody know? What would you say your usage rate needs to be? Does your usage rate need to be 50%? What should you keep your usage rate at when it comes to, let's say, your credit card? What do you all say is a good usage rate? Okay, Shauna says 30% or less. Because once you start learning the different categories that they're going to measure everything at, it will help you. Yep. So you all kind of hit the nail on the head. It's kind of about 30% or less. Some people will tell you like 10 to 15%. And so I say start at least, try to be at least 30% or less. But if you can stay 10 to 15, that's good too. But also do your own homework and due diligence so that you can see for yourself what works best for you. And then whatever you do, then I would say also, no, that's not what I'm looking for right there. Let's see here. Hold on, that might be it. Let me make sure. Y'all give me 2 seconds. I might have pulled up. No, that might be it right here. Okay, that's what I wanted to show you all. As you see right here, let me make sure it's large enough for you all. It says FICO credit scores are calculated using 5 key categories. That's what I want to talk to you all about. Each contributing a specific percentage to your overall score. So when you look at that FICO score breakdown, the payment history, how well you make payments, how consistent you make payments on time. This is the most important factor reflecting whether you pay your bills on time. Late payments, defaults, or collections can significantly lower your score. Anybody ever missed a credit card payment and then you look at your score and it's down 35, 40 points? Payment history, when you look at 100% of how your score is calculated, payment history has the biggest percentage. We see it right here. It is at 35%, 35% of your credit score. That's why it's most important. Tony Sherman says, key for us is to pay off balance every month before due date, means no interest paid. So when you all are looking at this, you have to understand you got to pay that credit card off on time. If they say the payment is due on the 15th or on the 22nd, you need to have that payment in before that date. And that will help you be able to improve that credit score or at least be consistent with it. Now, let's go a little bit further here. Amount owed. We just talked about that. 30%. So now you got 35% is can you pay on time? Can you consistently do that over a period of time? Amount owed. This measures your credit utilization or how much your available credit you are using. Lower utilization generally improves your score. Now let's look at that. If you have thank you for tuning in, Brad. Appreciate you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. If you had a credit card and let's say that credit card max limit that you have on it is $900, how much of that should you use about every month? Let's go in there in that comment section and let's do some math. If the max limit on that credit card is $900, what range should you stay at and below? I'll wait for one of you all to throw that answer in the comment section. Make sure you all share the live as you are tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. And we are talking about credit scores. We are talking about if you have a $900 credit card, how much of it should you use? We're dealing with payment history and amount owed. Tony Sherman says use credit like cash. Will make you like more. So we know that amount owed is 30% of the score. Shauna Johnson says 270 is at 30%. So we want to potentially stay around that 270 and below range so that we can stay at about 30% or lower. That's exactly it. Okay, Shauna, I see you with the math, 135. So with that, guys, you have to keep in mind, like, you got to get gas every month, potentially. And so if you're getting gas, you can use that credit card to get gas, whatever it may be. And of course, as Tony Sherman has mentioned, then we pay it off. Timothy Scott says none. Throw it in the trash. Trap card. I wouldn't throw the credit card in the trash. I would use it to my advantage, or I would use it to gain free stuff. But if you don't have any discipline at all, then yes, do what Timothy Scott says. Throw that trap card away, cut it up. But I would not close that credit line. I want y'all to keep that in mind. Do not close that line of credit. Now, length of credit history. If you close that line, that credit line, it's going to affect your credit score in a bad way. Shauna says she's smarter than a 5th grader, but at least she knows not a 6th grader. Anyway, length of credit history, 15%. Longer credit histories tend to increase your score as they provide more data on borrowing behavior. Remember, even though there's some hypocrisy when it comes to credit and how it grows, we're looking at your borrowing behavior. So that's why I said, even if you throw those cards away and cut them up, do not close those lines of credit, because the length of time that you've had those cards or whatever the case may be helps improve your credit score. When you cut those credit cards, not cut them, when you close that line of credit, it's destroying the history there. It's no longer available. Now, new credit. When you get new credit, check this out. Here's some of the stuff that I don't like. If you get a new credit, it's only 10%. Opening multiple new accounts in a short period can lower your score, as it may indicate higher risk. So when it comes to credit scores, they're like, yeah, go get credit or we won't give you a score. Go get credit or your score will be low. Go get credit, go get credit. But if you go get too much, then that's not good. It's no bueno. Tony Sherman says discipline is key to credit for your benefit. And then, of course, credit mix. I like this one. Credit mix is 10% of that score as well. Having a variety of credit types such as credit cards, mortgages, and installment loans can positively impact your score. These are some of the things that we're looking at because it's saying, hey, have a variety. Don't just have all credit cards. Don't just have all student loans. Having a variety, which this sounds so crazy, especially on Coach Steele's finance training, because I'm not telling you to go get a variety, different types of credit. But if you got a car note and if you have a mortgage and you got credit cards and a variety, I guess that helps, but it's only like 10% of the score. So in the wise words of a great poet out of Atlanta, whoop-de-doo. Now, so when you think about this, you can have a variety of credit if you want, but just know it needs to be able to be manageable. Because if you got car notes and mortgages and credit cards, that's a lot of cash flow being eaten up every month. But if you're maintaining it and you didn't overbuy on a car or overbuy on a house, then your money shouldn't be stressed out. You should be fine. So keep some of those things in mind. You want to improve your credit score, but at the same time, you don't want to go in debt and then eat up all your cash flow. And now you can't save for your future. You can't take care of your family and you're struggling paycheck to paycheck. Tony Sherman says the system is rigged for lenders to make money off you, but keep in the rat race and keep you in the rat race to no end. I agree with him 100%. That's my mindset. That's why I flip it and I try to do different things to get out of the rat race. We got Tim Scott saying you don't want to have too many hard inquiries within a certain time. And so here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, I appreciate y'all as y'all continue to tune in. Hey, Mickey David, we're in here talking about credit score changes as in regards to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which of course I talked about them about 7 months ago about their stock price and things that were happening. And Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they have so many great opportunities coming along that it's going to be interesting to see where they land and what happens with those stocks. Of course, they're kind of being controlled and ran by the government right now because the government had to bail them out. And so they had been struggling for quite some time. And as I showed you all on the charts, when it comes to buying shares in them, you would of course have to find out if it's possible to buy shares in them. And if it is possible, you need to do your due diligence to see if it makes sense for you to do it or not. But as you all see, and I told you all before, and you look at this chart, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac was worth at like a dollar and some change for a very, very long time. And then all of a sudden in November, let me go to the chart. Once President Trump, let's see, we got October 31st, it went to $1.44. And then we got December 2nd, it goes to $3.16. Let's go a little bit higher. April 15th, 2025, it goes to $6.25. Let's go all the way up here to this peak up here. Oh my goodness. September 11, 2025, It went to $14.32. This is what I want you all to understand. If you go back to September 30th, 2024, it was $1.14. It was less than $1 in 2023. But let's say, what if you got this at $1 and you bought 1,000 shares? That'd be $1,000, right? And then in about a year's time frame, that $1,000 would have been 14,300 and some dollars, which is very interesting. What caused Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac to go up that high? Now, of course, we see it now around $7 or $8 a share. So these are things I want you all to think about. What's going on in the housing market? What's going on with Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac? These changes that they're making. It gives them an opportunity to improve their company. And I do have some shares in Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. I bought shares a long time ago, made a couple $1,000s off of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, going up and down. And I kept some shares in there. Why did I keep shares in there? Because I'm waiting for the day for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to get back to where they used to be. What do I mean by get back to where they used to be? And I'm going to show you all on the chart, and then we're going to get ready to get out of here. Does anybody know how much Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac used to be a share? I'm going to show you. Now, when we look at 2000, when we look at February 1999, we see one share was worth about $69 a share. We go all the way up here to June 2001, $85 a share. Let's go to 2007, June, $66 a share. So let's say it gets back to $60 a share. If you have 1,000 shares, that's $66,000. Now we know in 07, 08, those of you that are old enough to remember, there was a crash in real estate, a real estate market crash. And so the bubble went down, and all of a sudden you see right here where Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac was selling at 46 cents a share, things like that. Like I told you all, I was making money. I would buy it at for a couple pennies, then it would shoot back up to $1. Like here we see $1.92, and I would sell, make money. And they just had these ups and downs, ups and downs. I had figured out the pattern and the rhythm of these ups and downs, so it was easy to make money. But I did keep 1,000 shares for a rainy day. I don't know if Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will ever go back up to the $70 or $60, but I'm just going to hold 1,000 shares just in case it does. I want to be able to walk away with about $50,000 if possible. Or what's interesting is the government is saying they might go back to privatizing Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. But if they become private companies and they're no longer public, how does that affect me and my shares? I don't know. I don't want to get cheated out of some money. So I got to figure out what to do with my shares. I could sell now. That would be like maybe $8,000. But anyway, those are things to stay tuned to and pay attention to. So if an opportunity does present itself, you can jump in it when the time is right. Another thing, before we get out of here, those of you that are tuned in to Coach Steele's finance training, if you would and could please, I would love for more of you to subscribe to my Facebook page. I know you can follow and I know we can be friends, but I also would like for you to subscribe to my Facebook page. And so that would require that you hit the subscribe link. And when you hit the subscribe link, it'll say, hey, if you want to subscribe to Simon Steele's Facebook page, it's 99 cents a month. And of course, whatever you give That 99 cent will go to help Cameroon with building churches, feeding people. Yes, you can help with just an extra 99 cent a month. You can make a big change and help me with kingdom building and making sure people have food to eat, clothes to wear. Sometimes we help pay for kids' school fees, but we are building churches in Cameroon, Africa as well. And I would love for you all to partner with me and participate in building those churches. Sometimes I will post videos on the YouTube channel of some of the work that's going on in Cameroon, Africa. So if you are a subscriber to the YouTube channel, you should be able to find those videos of some of the churches that have been built. And just to give everyone an update, of course, we built one church about 2 years ago. We're in the middle of building a second church now. But while we are doing that, we actually have another project going on in one of the other churches where they are in the process of building as well. So we really have like two churches that are being built right now at the same time at different locations. And of course, if you do want to see some videos of some of that work being done, then of course you can go to the YouTube channel right there where it says Building Churches in Africa, behind the scenes, building churches in Supe, Cameroon, Africa. And if you ever wanted to go and watch the first church that was built, let's see if I can scroll down. There we go. Then you can go to this video right here, Christ Evangelistic Missionary Outreach, and see that first church that we got to build. And that one you get to see from the ground up, from like the wood being cut, everything, floors being put in. It was an awesome event to be a part of. So that's something that you can go watch there as well. And like I said, just go to my Facebook page, Simon Steele, and find the subscribe link. Hit subscribe, 99 cents a month. You can take a part and be a part of kingdom building. When it comes to financial literacy, it is important to make money. It is important to grow wealth, but also it is important to give back and to sow good seeds. That's another part of being able to grow wealth and be able to make money, is also know when to have your hand open to help other people less fortunate. I believe in God's principles of sowing and reaping. And that's another way that you can be financially responsible. And as you continue to be blessed, you can bless other people. And so I thank you all as you all continue to grow that subscription, those subscribers on the Facebook page. And you all did an awesome job on today. So you should give yourself another hand clap and another pat on the back for just having accountability. Coming to Coach Steele's finance training, coming to be accountable, have a conversation about financial literacy, share with other people. Some things you may already know, and that's good, but you're coming to a positive environment to talk about money. And we have to continue to do that. And we'll continue to grow this culture, this environment, this community, and this team here on Coach Steele's Finance Training. We have another exciting event that I'm going to later on today. If you are in the Liberty County, Hinesville, Georgia area, we are going to celebrate the senior pastor at Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church. Her name is none other than Pastor Christy N. Conyers, the senior pastor of Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church at 1370 Shaw Road. We're going to have a celebration today at Bryant Commons Park off of Highway 84. And so what I want you all to do is come out, show up, whether you go to Mount Zion or whether you don't. You might just be a Coach Steele's Finance Training listener or subscriber to the Facebook page, and you just want to come out and support. Make sure you find me somewhere. And I look forward to seeing you all there. And maybe we can have some financial literacy conversations as well. But we want to celebrate our senior pastor out there and the 4 years of service that she's given to Mount Zion and the community as a whole, the partnerships and the things that she's done. Mount Zion has accomplished so much in the past 4 years. And I can't even begin to start because I would be late to the event. of the great things that God has allowed her to accomplish. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we're not just celebrating a person. We're not just celebrating, oh, look at this person, look what they did. We are celebrating the move of God in her life and how he has used her to transform and elevate a community, transform and elevate people and the sheep that God has put her over. So we're celebrating the move of God in her life, and we want you all to come and celebrate with us as well. And then on Sunday at 10 a.m., come out to Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church. I am inviting you. Be my guest. You can come sit by me, maybe. We'll see how much room is there. Maybe not Sunday, the next Sunday. Yeah. You can have my seat, but come out and fellowship with us. And we would love to have you at the 10 a.m. service with us, fellowshipping and worshiping. But other than that, appreciate y'all tuning in. Coach Steele's Finance Training. Y'all did an awesome job. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing some of you all at 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Bryant Commons Park in Liberty County, Georgia, and Hinesville, Georgia. You can come out at 11 a.m. and on Sunday at 10 a.m. at Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church. Tony Sherman says, praise God for all he has done. All right. We made it through it, guys. Another episode. There's a lot of awesome stuff that happened today. My wife, there was a women's conference in Cameroon, Africa this morning at 8 a.m. Of course, I go live at 9 a.m., but the women's conference in Cameroon, Africa, for us, it was at 8 a.m. Now, over there, it was 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So there's this women's conference going on, and they wanted my wife to be the speaker to close out the women's conference. And so we had a lot going on this morning as I'm preparing for Coach Steele's Finance Training. She's speaking to the women at the women's conference and us getting through the language barriers and things like that. We had a time. Those ladies over there were excited and celebrating, and it was just awesome time that we had fellowshipping at the women's conference. And even though there's distance, God still allows us to pour and to sow into them and to be able to bless them. They were empowered by the word, and I'm looking forward to seeing what God is going to continue to do with the women ministry and Christ evangelistic mission in Cameroon, Africa. And so there's always work going on every week when it comes to Cameroon and how God is using our family to impact the lives over there. And that's why I appreciate those of you that subscribe to the Facebook page with that 99 cents a month. It is going to continue to go far. And just know as you do that, you have a hand, a personal hand in kingdom building. You can say, I am involved in kingdom building, not just locally, but internationally. And I plan on going back to Cameroon this year. And what's going to be good for the subscribers, and I might just do a whole separate conversation about this. What's going to be good for the subscribers is when I go back to Cameroon in about a month and a half, all the subscribers, I'm going to make sure that I get that content out to you all first, and I'll keep you updated and make sure that you all get all of the good content and information of what's going on in Cameroon, Africa, as well, for your faithfulness and your willingness to commit and to sow into that ministry. I want you all to be the first ones to see the fruit from it. And so once again, thank you to those subscribers on the Facebook page that are willing to pay that 99 cents a month to help those. It does not make me richer. It does not give me more money. It gives me more money to sow 100%. Not a piece of your 99 cents, but 100% of your 99 cents goes to Cameroon, Africa. It's an opportunity for you to sow back into some of us what we would call the motherland. It's an opportunity for many of you who don't know a trusted place or location to give your money so that it goes into the right place. And keep in mind, I have some people that listen in, they will come up to me and not just 99 cents, they'll give $50, $20, $100 plus. they'll put it in my hand so that or cash app me so that I can continue to do the work over in Cameroon, Africa. So I appreciate everybody, the people that give $200 and the people that give 99 cents. But what I want you all to understand is it doesn't matter what the amount is, my level of appreciation. I don't care if all you got is a penny, give the penny. I'm going to send it over there because it's going to help somebody. Do you know that $2,000 in America is a million francs over there? $2,000 makes someone a millionaire in Cameroon, Africa. So when y'all just think about that. So if you give $50, if you give $20, oh, we can work with it. We can make something shake over there. We can do a lot with a little bit because I am a great steward of my finances. So I know how to be a great steward locally and a great steward internationally. And so this is an awesome time to be able to give and support Cameroon. And so what I'm going to do, all the subscribers on Facebook, the women's conference, they took videos and pictures and stuff like that. So when they send that to me, I will be posting those on the Facebook page as well. And Yvette, when she spoke to them, she was in her Cameroon dress outfit that they designed, that they made for her. When I went over to Cameroon, they gave me the package of, they gave me 2 dresses. And so one of the dresses that they made for her, that they sewed, she wore that today as she spoke to them. And so as soon as they saw her, they was turned up. They was excited. But I'll have to let her tell y'all the rest of that story. But it's a great experience. She got to minister. She got to witness. She got to do missions work through these digital platforms. You got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, what the enemy meant for bad, God will use it for good. He will take these technologies, he will take these platforms and allow us to spread the gospel and the good news to those that need to hear it. He will allow you to empower people who have the feet to run with it, to go write the vision, make it plain. So those that read it, those that hear it, people that understand it can run with it. There are some places and spaces where you may not be able to go in life, but God will put you in an environment and around certain people for you to pour into them because they have access to those places and spaces. You might only have access to their ears. You may only have access for them to be able to see you for a period of time, but how you carry yourself, how you move, and the things that you say in this season will allow you to give the message and the good news and empower people who can go out into those spaces and places and be great because of how God used you in their life. I don't know who needs to hear this on today, but when God gives you people to pour into, however it is, financially, mentally, socially, physically, spiritually, in whatever capacity, holistically, you need to take advantage of those moments and opportunities and give them everything you got. In that comment section, say, I got to give them everything that I got, because God is going to send those people in spaces and places that he needs his message, that he needs his presence, that needs his light. When you think about Genesis, God said, let there be light, because light was needed for the mission. Hello, somebody. Light was needed for the mission, and because light was needed, he sent light there by speaking it. And so many of you have the power and the ability to speak things into other people, pour into other people that is needed for where they're going. Yeah, we have an assignment. We have a duty. We have an obligation. We have a responsibility to pour, to give, and to speak when those opportunities present themselves. All right, I'm going to stop right there. I don't know what happened, but we'll call it God. Appreciate y'all tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. Be empowered on today. I'll do another episode where I think I'm just going to strictly talk about Cameroon, Africa, and the importance of sowing and giving and being charitable. That's about financial literacy as well. You all have a great day and be blessed.